it is free agency period pretty much now, to be honest with you. Nothing could truly be done yet, even, things can be done. Chats can be made underneath the table. On Monday, it's all out potentially legally in the open, and then Wednesday becomes official. And one thing after another is going to be happening, even though it's not official yet that Kyler Murray is going to be released by the Arizona Cardinals. Report comes out. He essentially confirms it in an apology note to the fans that he said he let down trying to end a 77-year drought for Cardinals fans. He confirms that he's going to be free next week to sign with any other team for just the league minimum. We're wondering when the shoe's going to be dropping for Tua Tagovailoa. Not yet. And then this news hits on Friday just before we go on the air, so this is kind of fresh, that the Las Vegas Raiders are going to release Geno Smith unless they can somehow trade him beforehand. Adam Schefter was the one that popped this out there. This would be an $8 million salary cap space saving, despite $18.5 million of dead money. And it's kind of tough to trade somebody that everybody thinks you're going to be releasing. So one would be thinking that this is going to be a release of Geno Smith. And who wants Geno Smith? And would you believe the reporting out of New York City is the Jets would like Geno Smith.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Jets would like a reunion of a guy that was so upset he wasn't drafted in the first round. He supposedly wasn't going to come back to be in the green room for the second night at Radio City Music Hall, but did anyway, and the Jets drafted him. And then we all know it didn't work out for the Jets, and then he went to the Giants, and then after all that, he started going around the league being written off. But as he said, when he showed up in Seattle and succeeded there, he never wrote back. And then Seattle attempted to re-sign him just around this point last year, and whatever dollars was being put in front of Geno wasn't enough for Geno, so they sent him to his old coach in Las Vegas, in Pete Carroll, and it was a disastrous year. Just an absolutely disastrous year. And his inability to be protected by the Raiders, and then his frequent penchant for those muddy pockets leading to some bad throws by him in a flurry of turnover-marred games led to eventually him being sat and replaced, or whatever you want to put it. But it was a one and done. It's going to be a one and done year for the Raiders, who aren't going to keep him around for that freight to be the guy, the veteran in the locker room for. Clearly, this move means Fernando Mendoza is the first overall pick in this year's draft. And don't even twitch in the direction of the Raiders unless you're bringing the noise and the funk and every single draft choice under the sun, and maybe your firstborn son or something, because the Raiders aren't trading that first overall draft choice for anybody because they're choosing Fernando Mendoza. Otherwise, they might be sticking with Geno Smith, who is, as I mentioned, somebody, according to Connor Hughes, who covers the Jets for Sportsnet New York, is a choice for the new offensive coordinator to put his Frank Reich thumb on any scale the Jets are going to make when it comes to their decision-making at quarterback. As you know, I've been mentioning Kyler Murray would be a great choice, but according to Connor, that Kyler Murray has been discussed, but he's being expected to sign with the Vikings. Cousins isn't on their table, but Geno Smith and Carson Wentz is. Jacoby Brissett as well, if the Cardinals don't keep him there, which might be their move, unless Jimmy Garoppolo is the apple of their eye. He's currently been backing up for the Rams, where their new head coach, Mike LaFleur, has been the offensive coordinator. Connor Hughes points out that the Wentz years in Philadelphia essentially came to an end because Frank Reich and Wentz fell out. But according to Connor Hughes, that isn't the case, and that no one loves Wentz more than Frank. I will just say this. Carson Wentz's penchant as well for turning the ball over and taking sacks and whatever we saw. He did perform well at times for the Vikings, but then again wasn't available with his best availability. I don't see that being a fit for the Jets. unless you just want to muddle your way through 2026 and get those high draft choices as possible. Geno Smith does appear to be a better choice unless he doesn't want a 2.0 revisit to a Jets organization that has churned out the coaches and the general manager since his departure, but the guy at the top still the same. So
you mean the very top?
The very, very, very top with the white lid, the jet cap.
Spends a lot of time over in Ireland?
No, the United Kingdom is where he did. Yes, sir. At any rate, long story short, Carson Wentz and none other than Geno Smith are the Jets' options right now at veteran quarterback. I don't know. They still have Justin Fields on their roster at the moment. But just one last time here. As for the report that the Jets would be interested in Kyler Murray because the money is right, the situation for them is right, the ability to have somebody who can get fannies in the seats and the fan base excited is right, that Kyler Murray would choose the Vikings over the Jets means a handful of things. One, he feels the roster is better in Minnesota, and I'd have to agree with him on that. Two, the head coach there is in better standing in Minnesota than he is in New York, and obviously you have to agree with that.
Yeah.
But there is a kid quarterback that's there in J.J. McCarthy that at some point you would have to think the Vikings would be interested in starting because they let Sam Darnold essentially walk by not giving him a Godfather offer or whatever assurances they might be offering Kyler Murray to Sam. Now, again, I'm speaking out of school here because I wasn't privy, nor has anybody in the news and information community really said anything other than the fact that Sam Darnold was given an offer by the Vikings. But it wasn't enough for him to say, I'm done here because I'm not looking over my shoulder for the kid. They're definitely going to have to start because they drafted him and they have to see what they have in him at my expense. After I just won 14 games, I'm off to Seattle. I'm out of here. So this means if Kyler Murray winds up in Minnesota, and we'll talk about it should it come to pass, that they are done handing the football to J.J. McCarthy unless he shows up and beats out a former number one overall pick in this league who has way more experience under his belt than he does. And that they are done with the ups and the downs that you have to basically buy into with a young quarterback because I guess, they don't all come out of the box like, say, Jaden Daniels did in year one or Drake May did in year two or Caleb did in year two, even though this would be year two for JJ. I'm biased. I root for the kid. I cape for him. I believe in him. I saw it at the college level. As we know, this is the professional level. As we all know, it's different. But if indeed Kyler Murray's going there, you have to think he's the week one starter. I mean, how does this guy get beaten out apples to apples by a guy who has only 1 year and even at that incomplete starting in the NFL? I mean, unless the Vikings give him the leg up that Sam Darnold thought they were giving him in any head-to-head because he is the 10th overall pick of a recent draft that needs to be given the time to marinate and to be groomed. And maybe that's why Kyler Murray would choose the Vikings over any other spot. Because if he goes to the Jets, he's definitely the starter there.
Yeah.
He's definitely the starter there. And I guess he doesn't think that he could use that as his Sam Darnold launching off point as he could the spot where Sam Darnold actually pointedly launched off. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.